Okay, hello everybody. My name is Dan, and this is my serial practicing English. And today I feel very tired. In the morning, I went to City to meet my supervisor, and we talk about the things, the plan that we will do in next year. But we just talked about 15 minutes. Then I left there and returned my town. So when I came back home, ate. I ate lunch and then I went to sleep. I took a I took a nap. I took a nap, and and I woke up at 2. I woke up at 2, and then I do some stuff. So like I need to change my things from my thesis, and I prepare for my class at 6. Okay, then I went to gyms. I took 1 hour. It took me 1 hour to do some exercise at the gym. Then I return home, back home, have an extra class, do the stuff that I hate from school. I don't know what to say, but I really hate the paperwork at public school because there's a lot of things to deal with. So, and my salary is not go up. It just say the same. If say the same, if I do much or if I do less, it still say the same. I just need to do my responsibility for my students or just for my things that I have to be responsible for, and keep practicing English today. Today, I'm gonna reread again the book, which names is The Inspector and the Other Story. And this is the chapter, I think this is the last chapter. Okay. I'll reread again the Blue Cross. The man who got off the boat at Hardwick had a short black bear. There was nothing to show he had a gun in his coat pocket, and nothing to show that he was one of the cleverest men in Europe. He was Valentine, the chief of the Paris police, and the most famous detective in the world. He was coming from Brussels to London to make the most important address of the century. Flavio was in England, and the police of 3 countries were trying to catch this famous thief. In London, there was a big meeting of pirates from all over the world, and Valentine was guessing that Flambeau would use this meeting for some criminal plan or order. Flambeau was strong and clever, and he enjoyed the joke. Once he ran down Rue de Louvain with a policeman under one arm. But how was Valentine to find Flambeau? There was one thing to help him. Flambeau could put on the clothes or change the way he looked, but he was a very tall man and could not hide it. Because of this, Valentine was sure that Flambeau was not on the boat. He was also sure that Flambeau did not get on the train going to Harwich to London. Only 6 people got on during the journey: 1 short railwayman, 3 short farmers, and 1 short woman, and a very short pirate going to London from Essex village. When Valentine saw this last person, he almost laughed. A little pirate had a round, simple face. He had a several parcel which he found difficult to keep it together, and a large umbrella which often fell to the floor. Many pirates would be coming to London that day, Valentine thought, coming from the quiet little towns and villages. This one was explained to everyone that he must be careful because he was carrying something made of real silver with blue stones in one of the parcels. He got off the train at Stratford in East London with all his parcels and came back for his umbrella. When he did, Valentine warned him not to tell everyone about his silver with blue stones. The detective was looking for people who were at least 2 meters tall, because Flambeau was several centimeters taller than this. He got off the train in central London and went to the London police to ask for help if he needed it. Well, then he went for a long walk. He stopped suddenly in a quiet square. On one side in the buildings there were higher and the rest, and there were a small restaurant between the tall houses. It stood high above the street and with steps going up the front door. Valentine stood looking at it, smoking a cigarette, and when he was looking for a criminal, if he had a clue, he followed it. If it had no clue at all, he followed his own feelings. A man must begin somewhere, and something about the quiet little restaurant made Valentine wanted to start there. He went up the steps, sat down by the window, and asked for a cup of coffee. A minute later, Valentine was lifting the cup up to his lips, but he put it down quickly. "I've put salt in it," he said, and he looked at the bowl of silver powder. It was sugar bowl. It was sugar bowl. So why did they keep salt in it? There were full of salt cellars on his table. What was in them? He tasted. It was sugar. He looked around, except for 1 or 2 dark red stains on the white wall. There was nothing strange in that place. Valentine called the waiter and asked him to taste of sugar. The waiter was half asleep, but he woke up, and when he tasted the sugar, "Do you play the joke on custom every morning?" asked Valentine. The waiter did not know what to say. Then suddenly he said, "It was the 2 pirates." "What 2 pirates?" said Valentine. "2 pirates who threw soup at the wall over there," replied the waiter. Valentine looked again at dark wet stains. "The 2 of them came in and drank soup tea very early this morning," the waiter explained. "They were both very quiet. One of them paid the bill and went out. The other took several more minutes to get his things together, and then he picked up his cup, which was only half empty, and threw it at the wall. I was in Black Room, but I ran out to find the restaurant empty. I tried to catch them in the street, but they were too far away. They went round the corner into the Carstairs Street." Detective jumped to his feet, put on his hat, and paid his bill. A moment later, he was outside. He walked around into the next street, although he was excited and in a hurry. Valentine saw something in front of a shop that made him stop. The shop sold fruit, and there were some oranges and some nuts at the front. They each had cards with writing on them. The card on the nut said, "Best oranges for 2 for a penny." The card on the oranges said, "Bad nuts for pence for a bag." Valentine looked at the 2 cards. I've seen this guy joke before, he thought. He told the man in the shop about the cuts. The man said nothing, but he put the cuts in the right places. Can I ask questions? Said Valentine. If two cuts in a shop are they in wrong places? How are they like a pirate's hat that come to London for a holiday? Or why do nuts that are said to be orange make me think of two pirates, one tall and the other short? The man in the shop looked angry. Are you a friend of theirs? He said. If you are, you condemn that I'll bang their stupid heads together if they knock over my apples again. Did they knock over your apples? Asked the detective. One of them did, said the man. Which way did they go? Asked Valentine. Up that second road on left-hand side, and then across the square, answered the man. Thanks, said Valentine. Hurry away. On the other side of the second square, he found a policeman. Have you seen two pirates? He asked. The policeman laughed. I have, sir. One of them stood in the middle of the road, dropping parcels everywhere. Which way did they go? Asked Valentine. They went one of those yellow buses over there, answered the policeman. Those that go to Hampstead. And Valentine told the policeman who he was, then said, Call two of your men to come with me. 2 minutes. An inspector and another detective arrived. Well, sir, began the inspector. How? I'll tell you on top of that bus, said Valentine. When 3 of them were sitting on the top seat, the inspector said, Taxi, quicker. True, said Valentine, but we don't know where we're going. All we can do is look for some strange thing. What kind of strange thing? Asked the inspector. Any kind of strange things, replied Valentine. The yellow bus went slowly up the road to the north of the city. The French detective became quiet. Lunchtime came and went, and the long road seemed to go on forever. Valentine sat silently and watched everything that went by. The 2 other detectives was almost asleep when he suddenly shouted. They quickly followed Valentine off the bus without knowing why. Over there, said Valentine, the place with the broken window. He was looking at the restaurant. It had a large window with a horn in the middle of the glass. How do we know that the window has anything to do with them? Asked the inspector. Valentine became angry. No, he said, we can't know. We don't. You understand? We must either follow the wheel change or go home to bed. They followed him into the restaurant where the 3 of them ate meal at a small table. Valentine looked at the little star of broken glass, but learned nothing from it. Your windows are broken, he said, paying his bill. Yes, sir, replied the waiter. It was strange how it happened. Tell me, said Valentine. 2 of the pirates came in, said the waiter. Though foreign pirates who are in the city at the moment. They had a cheap and quiet little lunch. One of them paid for it and went out. The other was just to follow him when I realized something. Wait, I said, one of who was nearly out the door. You paid too much. And I picked up the bill to show him, but I got a surprise. What do you mean? Asked Valentine. I was sure that I put your 4 siblings on that bill, that the waiter, but now I saw that it was 14. When what happened? Said Valentine. The pirates at the door said, that will pay for the window. What window? I asked. What the one that I'm going to break, he said, and he broke the window for his umbrella. I went after him, but I wasn't quick enough. They went Bullock Street so far, I couldn't catch them. Bullock Street, said Valentine, and he ran up that road as quickly as the stray pair that he was following. The journey took them through dark, narrow streets, and the inspector guessed that they would finally reach some part of Hampstead Heath. Suddenly, Valentine stopped in front of a small, brightly lit sweet shop. After a moment, he went inside and bought some chocolate. He began to ask the shopwoman a question, but she spoke first. She saw the inspector behind him and immediately said, "If you are the police and you come about the parcel, I'll already send it off." "Parcel?" replied Valentine. "I mean the parcel the Pius left," said the woman. "Quickly," said Valentine, "tell us what happened." "They came in half an hour," said the woman. They bought some sweets and they went towards the Heath. Then one ran back into the shop and said, "Did I leave a parcel?" "I looked around, but I couldn't see them." He said, "Never mind. If you do find it, please send it to this address." He left the address and a sibling for me, but after he went, I looked again and found there was a parcel, so I posted. I can't remember the address now, but it was somewhere in Westminster. "Is Hampstead Heath near here?" asked Valentine. "Straight for 50 minutes." "Straight on for 50 minutes," said the woman. Valentine hurried out and began to run. The others followed him. The street went through was full of evening shadows. There was out on the open Heath, and Valentine saw two black shapes that he was looking for. There was a long way away, but Valentine saw that one was smaller than the other, and the bigger man was over 2 meters tall. He hurried on. As he got close, he saw something surprising, something which he had already guessed. The small man was a Pius from the Harwich train, the one who talked about his parcel. Early that day, Valentine had discovered that the Father Brown from Exeter was bringing a very old silver cross with valuable blue jewels to show to some foreign pirates who were meeting in London. Valentine was sure that if he were able to find about him, then Flambeau was able to find out too. He was sure that Flambeau planned to steal cross, and it was not surprising Flambeau, looking and talking like a pirate, had been able to make the simple little man come to Hampstead Heath. What Valentine could not understand were the strange clues that had brought him there. Soup on a wall, nuts, corn orange, and broken windows. The detective forward to across the wider park of Heath, then lost them for a few minutes. Then he saw them again. Two pirates were sitting on a seat, having a serious conversation. Laventin and his friends behind a tree listened to them talking. It was then that Valentine began to wonder if he was right. The two men on the seat were talking calmly about the ideas of their church. Valentine could almost hear the two detectives laughed at him. They had come on this way only to listen to the talk of two gentle old pirates. Father Brown was speaking. look at the star like a jewels in the sky. But even in those other worlds, there must be something lost of reason and goodness. Valentine was about to move away, but the words of tall Pyrrhus stopped him. Who can understand my mystery of the stars? Then he added calmly, just give me the silver cross, will you? We're all alone here, and I could pull you to easily. To pieces. Huh. I could pull you to pieces easily. As Mons pirate didn't move, he continued to look at the star. Perhaps he had to not understand, or perhaps he was too afraid to move. Yes, said the tall pirate, in the same low voice, I'm Flambeau. No, give me the cross. No, replied the other pirate. Flambeau suddenly laughed. No, you don't worry. You won't give it to me, you simple little priest, he said, because I really have it in my pocket. The small man looked at him. Are you sure? Flambeau laughed again. Yes, you stupid man. I knew which of your parcels contained a jewel cross, so I make a carefully copy of the parcel. And now you, my friend, have that copy parcel, and I have the jewels. It's easily done, Father Brown. Easily done. Father Brown did not look worried. Yes, very easily. I remember another man used copy parcel for many years, he said. I remember him when I began to wonder about you. Wonder about me? Said Flambeau. When did you begin to wonder about me? When I brought you up to the health? No, said the Father Brown. When we first met, I saw that a little shaft under the arms of your coat, where you keep your knife. How did you know that? Cried Flambeau. When I was a pirate in Hartlepool, said Father Brown, there were 3 men who hid their knives in the same way. So I watched you. I saw you change the parcel, and I changed them back. I left the right one behind. Left it behind, repeated Flambeau. I went back to the Swiss shop, explained Father Brown, and asked the woman if she saw me leave the parcel. Then I gave her an address if it was found. I knew I had left a parcel, but I went away again. I did leave one. She had posted to a friend of mine in Westmeath. He went on sadly. I learned that from a man Hartlepool too. He did it to Hambas, which he stole at a rail station, but he's a good man now. People tell pious things, you see. Flambeau pulled a parcel from his pocket and opened it. There was only paper and stone inside. He jumped up angrily and shouted, I don't believe you. You got a silver cross on you. I'm going to take it from you. No, said Father Brown, and he stood up. You won't take it from me, first, because I really haven't got it, and second, because we are not alone. Behind that tree are 2 strong policemen and cleverest detective alive. How did they come here? I'll tell you. I wasn't sure if you were a thief, so I tried some things. A man usually says if he finds salts in his coffee. If he doesn't, he had a reason to keep quiet. I changed the salt and sugar, and you keep quiet. A man usually says if his bill's too big. If he doesn't, he had a reason for saying nothing. I changed your bill, and you pay for it. Flambeau did not seem to be able to move. I wanted to be sure the police could not follow it. could follow it, Father Brown went on. At every place we went to, so I did something which people could talk about. Only little things, a soup stain on the wall, some apples that we knocked over, and broken window, but I saved the crust. How do you know all these things? Cried Flambeau. Shadows of a smile went across around your face of Father Brown. By being a simple little pirate, I suppose, he said. If you listened enough men telling you about their crimes, are you sure to learn something? The three policemen moved out from behind the tree. Flambeau knew when he had lost his bottle. He was famous for his politeness. He took off his hat to Valentine and smiled. Do not take your hat off me, my friend, said Valentine. Let's both take them off to Father Brown. And they both stood in their hats off while the little ex-pirate looked around for his umbrella. Oh my gosh, that's a funny story. The little pirates. I guess the little pirates ate a bamboo, but it doesn't. So I think this is the end for today reading. Thank you for listening, and until next time, take care.